Hello and welcome to another episode on Accessible Airwaves on CJSW 90.9 FM.
This program is dedicated
to the education and exploration of disabled life,
giving voice to the life and experience of people with disabilities.
We cover a wide array of issues and disabilities.
We are people who discuss issues we are passionate about
and topics we are interested in.
We show how disability is in the mind of the beholder.
Hello, and I'm Adam Cairns, your host for this episode. I am interviewing Jodi Green. She is the coordinator of the Judaic Outreach and Community Inclusion, and also she is responsible for the management of the Tamir Choir. Today we discuss about the Tamir Choir out of Ottawa, and this episode is part 1 of 2 series. Hello, Jodi. Could you tell us about the Tamir Choir?
I'll just start with the history because there's kind of 2 parallel histories that are worth mentioning. So I work for an organization called Tamir, Tamir. And we support adults with developmental disabilities and autism. And we were started over 40 years ago by a mom who had a son with a developmental disability. And at the time, the conventional wisdom was to put him in an institution. And they said, this is not what I want for my son. This is not the life that I want for my son. At the time, group homes were a new and sort of up and coming, very modern way of supporting people with developmental disabilities. And so she started making phone calls to other parents she had encountered and said, listen, I want to start a group home for my son. What about your children? Would you be interested? And the answer was yes. And so Tamir was founded 42 years ago with 3 individuals living together in a home in the Westboro neighborhood of Ottawa, which at the time and continuing today was a very Jewish area. All the families at the time were Jewish. And then about 37 years ago, Tamir came under the auspices of MCCSS, which is the Ministry of Community, Children's, and Social Services, and is a public institution. So we currently support people from all backgrounds, all religions, all faiths, all cultures, although we have a mandate to support the Jewish community and to maintain Jewish culture and values sort of as our core, at our core.
Okay.
About 25-ish years ago, so well before my time, the executive director of Tamir at the time met with a new cantor that had just moved into the area and came up with the idea to start a choir for people with developmental disabilities. You know, at that time, going back that many years, inclusion looked different than the way we think of inclusion today. And so having a choir that would perform in public venues like any other group would perform at the time was considered inclusion. And the cantor's name was Daniel Ben Lolo. He is no longer in Ottawa. He's actually gone back to Montreal, and he started a new choir there. So if you're looking for choir perspectives, he has another choir there. But our choir still continues, even in his absence. And they started this amazing group, and it was they have always done and continue to do a lot of Jewish music mixed in with every other kind of music. They do rock, they do other holiday favorites from other cultures and backgrounds. They do songs in Hebrew, they do songs in English, they do songs sometimes in Yiddish. They've led services at synagogues. They have been to multicultural events. They have toured in Florida. They have toured around Canada. They have toured in Israel. They've kind of been all over. They've performed at the Tulip Festival here. They've performed at the Holocaust Remembrance Day, many like nursing homes and long-term care facilities. They've worked with other choirs and done sort of mixed choir performances. They do it all. They're an amazing group. They're super, super passionate, and that is sort of the number one criteria for entrance in the choir is passion and love of singing.
Mm-hmm.
It's open to any adult. The majority are adults with developmental disabilities. However, we would be happy to have anyone from the community join the group. We are not multi-generational in the sense that we have parents and children in the choir necessarily, but our youngest member is probably in their 30s and our oldest is in her 80s. So we do span a huge range of ages. We have one couple who I'm hoping to get for the next interview for you who met through the choir and are engaged and living together. And they're super, super fun. And the choir, having that foundation of a choir that could put disabilities out there as, something not to shy away from or not to think any differently of, launched other projects within Tamir. So for our 25th anniversary, they did an inclusive performance of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, where they worked with an amateur theater troupe in the city and double cast every role. So every role was cast by someone from Tamir and someone from the troupe. And they split up the singing and they split up the acting and they split up the whole thing. And the whole performance was done as a double cast role. And they did, I think, 3 performances and they were all sold out. And it was brilliant. Still before my time. I've seen the video of it, but I was not around to see the actual performance. It also launched other ways of looking at inclusion. Tamir in 2017 and 2019 did an inclusive fashion show where we worked with local fashion designers, local-ish. Some of them came from Toronto, but reasonably local fashion designers to create fashions that fit every body, shape, size, ability, whether they used mobility devices or not, however they walked, however they were, to make sure that fashion fits everyone. And there were professional fashion models and there were Tamir fashion models. And we spent huge amounts of time learning how to walk on a catwalk, how to present fashion, how to be a model. And they got up in front of an audience of over 500 people and strutted their stuff. And they were brilliant both times and looked phenomenal. And the smiles, you can't even put it into words, the excitement. I've never walked a catwalk personally, so I can only imagine how amazing that feeling was for them. And the choir sang at both of those. So some of the choir members were also models that day. And then the choir sang at both of the fashion shows. They partnered for the second one with Craig Cardiff, who's a Canadian rock star. Lovely, lovely guy. And they sang one of his songs with him on stage. So they've worked with, real rock and roll stars. And they continue. They continue, to be inspirational to the local community, to people within Tamir, to families. We've partnered a few times with Propeller Dance Troupe, which is a local dance troupe that has both recreational and professional performance dance troupes, all for people with disabilities, all kinds of disabilities, whether it be a developmental or physical, all kinds of disabilities. You can Google them if you want to see some of their stuff. And so we've done some partnerships with them during COVID, which was really neat, where we created some virtual choir videos to complement some of the themes of the performances that they were putting out. So it's launched into other partnerships. And they really have a name for themselves in the city of Ottawa. People know them, and I get phone calls requesting their performances and requesting their attendance. After Cantor Ben Lolo left the city, we had a choir director who didn't stay very long, but now we have a woman. Her name is Rachel Eichster, and she's been with us for 2.5 years. I want to say 2 years. Anyway, and she is phenomenal. And for better or worse, the older people in our choir, when they were in school, were frequently, sent out to special classes or special this or special that, and unfortunately experienced firsthand discrimination against people with disabilities and have trauma and baggage around the discrimination they experienced when they were young. And the one thing they tell me over and over again about Rachel, our current conductor, is she treats us like everybody else. She doesn't
Yep.
talk to me like I have a disability. She doesn't talk to me like I'm any different from she is. She treats our choir like a choir. She expects us to have practice. She expects us to come prepared. She expects us to raise our level. And you know, of course, in today's day and age, that is the expectation, right? That is the norm, and the way we should be treating people is like people. But for some of the people, for some of the singers, they have these other experiences that shadow the way they see the world, and for them to be able to take so much pride in their choir and their conductor is really special, and we're very lucky to have Rachel with us.
I would agree. How have the skill sets or people changed since starting the choir? And could you give an example?
So I've only been with the choir for 3.5 years, so I'm not sure that I can answer that. Some of the people on the interview might have a better answer for that. I would say the skill set probably hasn't changed. It's a love of singing and a desire to want to make music together that, you know, has founded and driven our choir since the beginning. And that is still what drives our choir, is the love of coming together and making music. What was the second part of your question?
Oh, and like, so what kind of skill sets or people have changed since starting the choir? Like,
And some example. Yeah, I don't know that it's changed so much. It's in a good way, you know.
no worries. You did mention the new cantor that you mentioned. Could you explain that to the listeners and maybe to myself?
Sure. Oh, what is a cantor?
Yes, thank you.
Sure. A cantor is a clergy person in the Jewish religion. He or she works with the rabbi, and they are they are often professionally trained singers who are trained in the melodies and modes of our tradition, some of which are thousands and thousands of years old, and are the keepers of the Jewish musical tradition and the transmitters of it to the next generation. So because they're professional singers, they are frequently also engaged with either synagogue choirs or with community groups and in other ways, and try to bring music to all.
Okay. And I know you just said you've been traveling to various venues in Canada, probably the US and Israel. Any other places have you done performances as cities, countries, or locally? Or
I'm trying
looking forward to?
Yeah, I don't have I want to say that they were maybe out in Vancouver at one point, definitely Montreal. They were definitely in Florida, potentially New York, but I would want to confirm that. Let me write that down and try to get better answers.
But what travel arrangements and accommodations and support, like at these various venues, what kind of things do you have to look forward to going to different cities, countries, or something like that? What kind of venues and arrangements do you have to go through?
Yeah, so I mean, the number one thing is to make sure that everyone's needs are met. All right, whatever that looks like. Whether that means we need to bring extra staffing, whether family members are coming, because not everyone who sings in the choir is an individual with Tamir. We are open to the community, and so we have community members. So the support looks different depending on their unique circumstance. We need to make sure that those needs are met, kind of like when you're traveling with any group. So we need to make sure that food is scheduled in at the appropriate times to make sure people's energy levels are kept good so that they're prepared for singing. Some people who may have mobility issues, making sure that appropriate seating is available. If a couple of our choir members are wheelchair users, so making sure that a space is appropriately left for them to be able to access the stage or singing area, and B, that there isn't a chair where they're supposed to be standing, where they're supposed to be placed, to make sure that everyone feels equal in the group. What else is that like?
Yeah, that sounds like your venues and your accommodations are very, very accommodating for people with disabilities from, in a wheelchair, or you need to have, something to, feed them with, or to, get them motivated for singing in front of a large crowd.
Yeah, well, we make sure of it. It would defeat the purpose of inclusion to go to an inaccessible venue, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so you're trying to make sure you book the venue has everything you need for everyone with different disabilities, from
That's right.
physical, mental, all that. Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. How often are the practices or rehearsals, and how long are they?
Currently, we practice once a week for an hour. When we have a performance coming up, we could sometimes double that to 2 hours, or add in extra rehearsals as needed. So make sure that we're prepared.
Good. So you have an hour or two to practice the music that you're doing for the recitals.
Say again, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're practicing for your concerts mostly, right?
Correct. Correct. Or sometimes it's just fun. Like right now, we're doing some Hanukkah and Christmas music. We have rehearsal this week and then next week, and then we'll take a break, until the new year. So we're doing a lot of fun music. We don't have any performances coming up right now. We expect in the spring that we will. So it's a chance to come together and socialize and make beautiful music.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other choirs for people with disabilities that you're aware of in other parts of Canada?
So the only one that I know of offhand is the one that Cantor Ben Lolo started in Montreal when he relocated there. I don't know of any. I'm sure there are, but I'm only sort of tapped into the Jewish choirs. I don't believe there's one in Toronto. I don't think Rena has one that I'm aware of. No, that would be the only one I know of off the top of my head.
Okay, that's fine. If I was interested myself, or the listeners are interested joining the choir, how do I go about it?
Great question. So first, be in Ottawa, please, because we're not virtual. We are live and in person. So if commuting is not an option, then unfortunately, this wouldn't be the best match for you. But assuming you are relatively local, send me an email. Tell me that you're interested. I will put you in touch with Rachel. We'll invite you to come to a rehearsal, see how you get on with the group, see how you enjoy the singing experience, and go from there.
Awesome. And so they could contact you, or how would they want to know more information about the choir?
Again, to reach out to me by email is the best. The phone number that I gave you is my personal cell, so please don't publish that.
I won't. Well,
Thank you.
I won't. But let's say, what about your website? Do you have a website? There you go.
Yep. Tamir.ca. We do have a website. There is information on the choir there. I haven't checked that page in a while, but it should link back to me. But Jodi Green at Tamir.ca.
Oh, cool. Did we miss or like to add in this interview, or want to kind of tell the listeners about the choir?
Just that we love what we do. We love singing. We love joining the community, and we're always looking for new members. And we're always looking to find more people who enjoy the same things we do.
Awesome. Like singing and having fun. I gotcha. Thank you, Jodi. That was awesome.
Problem.
That was me talking to Jodi Green on Zoom. And she's the coordinator of the Judaic Outreach and Community Inclusion. And she is responsible for the management of the Tamir Choir. We discuss the choir, who runs out of Ottawa. For more information on the choir, you can go to tamir.ca. We're going to listen to Rebecca and the choir singing the song "The Lucky One."
Nobody knows how I feel when I'm lying next to you. You take my pain away and make my world anew. You don't realize how lucky I am to have you in my life. I know that you'll be a part of me until the day I die. I'm the lucky one to call you mine. I'm the lucky one to be alive. I'm the lucky one. I'm the lucky one. Ooh, the lucky one. My heart beats a minute every time that you're around. I love the way you whisper, it's such a perfect sound. You cast a spell over my soul and took away my fear. Even when you're far away, it seems like you are near. I'm the lucky one to call you mine. I'm the lucky one to be alive. I'm the lucky one. I'm the lucky one. Ooh, the lucky one. It's you, it's always been you, the one who helps me through. You're etched on my heart like a tattoo. I'm the lucky one to call you mine. I'm the lucky one to be alive. I'm the lucky one. I'm the lucky one. Ooh, ooh, the lucky one. Ooh, the lucky one.
That was Rebecca and the choir singing The Lucky One. Thanks for listening to Accessible Airwaves on CJW 90.9 FM. If you missed any of our episodes, you can go to CJW.com or any other podcast apps. Hope you tune in for part 2 of this episode.